Hello, I'd like to introduce myself to you. I have taken on the social media identity of Archangel Que. I've chosen this identity as it relates or is relevant to my mission here on Earth right now. I have never really intended to make a channel and do videos, but I think I can see that people are becoming confused and less positive about the outlook in the future, and I believe it's very, very important that we all remain very positive about the timeline and stick to the right timeline and not get diverted from that. So I'll begin by explaining a little bit about this mission and how it relates to what is happening in this world at the present time. I've been aware of the destiny of this world and the war between good and evil for a very, very long time. And yes, I am fully aware of my spiritual timeline from when I first entered this universe until now. And I am aware broadly of the future timeline as it was postulated as destiny eons ago. And I'm very happy to tell you that the future timeline is very good indeed for the good people of this planet and this sector of this galaxy. Humanity is on the verge of a golden era of sovereignty, abundance, and peace. Humanity will finally be free to ascend to amazing heights of spiritual awareness and ability. So this is all positive, and we need to keep this at the forefront of our minds when we focus on our future lives. And my mission has been to observe this timeline and to help ensure it does not deviate from its predetermined destiny. I'll try to explain what I mean as simply as possible for the broad overview to allow for a degree of conceptual understanding due to the limited length of this video. I may make other videos later to expound on this information. Now, the war between good and evil on this planet has been fought at 3 levels. This is a very important thing to bear in mind as an overview. It keeps you on track, and it doesn't allow you to get immersed into the little intricacies of what's going on in this war between good and evil right now. If you can look at it from an exterior perspective of what's happening on this planet, it's easier to stay positive. So the first 2 levels encompass the human aspect. One is where there are organized humans working diligently using technology to free pure spiritual energy, which has been entangled with the trapped or trapped by the past trauma in the previous lives of every human being. This process helps to raise the spiritual frequency of humanity, and this is humanity's spiritual healing work in progress. Perhaps I'll go into more details about that level in another video. Now, the second group of humans is the White Hats, the 17th letter, and the Alliance, who have the plan to free humanity of the deep state, evil Cabal, and otherworldly evil influences. Meaning the Draco reptilians, etc., and the Greys. Now, this is humanity's physical or kinetic effort, which also has a spiritual aspect to it, and has the help of otherworldly good beings, primarily from this galaxy. Now, the third part of this timeline is the purely spiritual aspect. This involves the Supreme Being, or God, and his angels watching over the 2 human aspects, which I have just outlined earlier, guiding them and keeping the timeline on track as preordained a very long time ago by God, his angels, and even some who have incarnated as humans, knowingly or unknowingly, and who are awake. Mr. Donald T. would be a prime example of such an angel. All 3 of the above working together, both knowingly and unknowingly, are bringing about the Great Awakening. Now, the main reason I've given you this overview of the plan or preordained timeline, and it's very important to note it is preordained. So what I'm saying is happening on this planet right now was destined, and it was postulated into the future a very long time ago. And due to the recent, and I'm doing this due to, as I mentioned earlier, the recent release of some videos into the Truth and Network about the looking glass technology. and how there are some bad things that are possibly going to be happening along this timeline. And I don't believe that that is the case. So I want to state unequivocally that this release is nothing more than a diversion and attempt to put fear and confusion into the Patriot movement. Anyone who gives it credence is doing a disservice to the White Hats, the Truther Network, and the preordained timeline as outlined above or earlier, and may well help to delay or even alter the final outcome. So it's important not to get distracted. This is nothing more than a deep state attempt to delay their inevitable destruction and a last-ditch effort to try to wrest away the timeline to follow their plan or their timeline by putting doubt in the minds of the Patriot and Truther movement. It's not going to put doubts into the White Hat movement, I can tell you that for now. But the important reason why we can't have the Truther movement and the Patriots distracted is because we're a multiple of viewpoints. Right? Every awake person, because their spiritual frequency is higher, the space between us is less. So there is more spiritual power in what we think or what we believe is going to happen in the future. It's a collective thing. We're all connected spiritually as we are with the Supreme Being and God. So the higher frequency you are, the more power we have. So what the deep state's actually trying to do is divert the attention of the normal people who are awake, the Truther and the Patriots, and get them to start having doubts about the certainty of their future timeline. And through that energy and that power of spiritual power, they hope to be able to distract us off the timeline that the White Hats have been working on. So it's vital that the Truther movement and the Patriots stay positive on the positive timeline and don't get distracted, because that's the only way these pigs, these arseholes, can friggin' win this game or delay the inevitable. I believe it's inevitable no matter what happens, but it's their way of trying to delay so they can buy time to find a way of winning, and we can't let them do that. So this is obviously the case. After all, we already know that the White Hats and the 17th letter have already, that letter we can't mention, have already used Looking Glass to confirm the plan to take down evil on this planet. And if what those videos are saying is true, that is the 3 videos that were released recently on the Looking Glass, if what those videos are saying is true, why would the 17th letter be telling you to trust the plan and watch the show? Because the war is already won and we are just watching a movie, right? That's what you would think. But no, this is purely an attempt to take away the momentum of the timeline we are currently on, which the 17th letter clearly informed you about, to help awaken our sleeping army. So the sleeping army, who is now the awoken army, which are you, the Patriot movement and the Patriots and the Truther Network, must not take your eye off the prize we are all working so hard to attain. A world free of evil, insanity, crime and war, where Jasara, the global currency reset and the revaluation can be implemented, marking the beginnings of the golden age of humanity. So this is what we can't be distracted from. If we keep this clearly in our minds and do everything every day towards making this happen, the momentum will be unstoppable, because the spiritual vibration and energy in all of us awake people, all of you awake people doing this, will push the White Hats' momentum forward and make it happen faster. So awareness on this planet is growing at an exponential rate right now, and this will continue as more and more of the population from all countries around the planet continue to connect consciousness through raised spiritual frequency towards the unstoppable force or connection with our Supreme Being, or God, the upholder or glue, which manifests this universe through each viewpoint or soul. And that is you all, and in any other dimension thereof. We are all viewpoints in matter, energy, space and time, the physical universe, and it is this which creates the illusion of separateness. As humanity raises awareness and frequencies into higher dimensions, the illusion of space begins to have less effect on each viewpoint, and thereby allowing for a closer connection with each other and therefore God. Now, the long ago predetermined spiritual plan to meet here on this planet, in this solar system, on the edge of this not so important galaxy, and believe me, it's not that important, this galaxy, but it is important right now, because this is where the front line is in the war between good and evil is actually happening. And this is just one of the billions of galaxies that make up this universe, and could be considered miraculous, to say the least, that this is actually happening. However, it was no accident, and is a testament. And it is a testament to all of you who are here fighting on the side of goodness, truth and God against evil, which is very special and validates who you are and fulfills each and every one of our pledges to each other and God to be here at this momentous time in universal history. And the reason we are here is to defeat the evil satanic forces which were and still are trying to destroy love and truth everywhere. So the war may be won, but there is still much to do to ensure the defeat of evil permanently from this planet, this sector and beyond. This is why it is so vital to stick with the plan and not get distracted from the timeline that 17 and the White Hats have laid out. So keep connecting and working closely together and organising to reveal the exposure and defeat of evil everywhere it raises its hideous head. In finishing, I'd just like to recite a poem which I believe Source downloaded to me, and it's entitled The Thoughts That Matter, and it's very relevant to what I'm talking about, what I've talked about already. So, the thoughts that matter. All thoughts of love, understanding and truth have a power behind them that's hard to unhoof. For in this world, so much evil present for sure, of insanity, crime, and of war, and so the more thoughts of good, understanding, and love that pervade this world and the heavens above, a dam you may build to tide the stem against this evil and its men. So try ye hard, O friends of love, to spread those thoughts against this rush. Is your purpose so sure this evil tide to stem, to change those impure minds of men, deluded by the fruits of evil's den? So the more thoughts of love that we can create, the weaker the tide from evil's gate. So thank you to those who have taken the time to listen to my first video. If you like my message, please help it go viral, or share it, so we can get the pantomime or the show over with as soon as possible. I hope this message helps to keep us all on course by being positive and knowing the final outcome is love, peace and abundance for all. So if that's not a reason to keep positive and moving forward in a positive way, there's nothing else that will beat it. So this is Archangel Que signing out. Love, truth, peace.